Stop chasing, man. Y'all get on here. Y'all get on here. How y'all feeling this morning? How y'all feeling this morning? It's a new day. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Right? Our second day back, but we're halfway through the week. Yeah. We got some plays setting up. We got some opportunities in the market today. We're gonna go over them and get you all good for the day. How y'all feeling today? Who we got in here? Best Beezy in the building. What's going on? Got Tim in the building. Daphne, I see you. Kelton, Liz. I'm doing good. Hey, Liz, you took the words right out my mouth. I was looking at the market this morning. I was looking at TE. I'm actually in TE, right? I was talking about this on the call the other day, but I didn't call it. It was just like a bullseye play. But it's a ridiculous bet. It ran 29% yesterday. It's up 10% today. It's ridiculous. That definitely should have been a call though. For the group. Doop! Hit that like button, y'all. TE is silly. Best Beezy, how you feeling? Let's go. P, I see you. What up, man? Tish in the building. How you feeling over there, Tish? I'm feeling good, Kelton. You know what I'm saying? It's early, but another day. Another day to get up and, do what it is that we do. Another opportunity to discover these beautiful surprises that the day always seems to bring. You know what I mean? So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really good. What about y'all? What are y'all grateful for this morning? Y'all know how we got to kick it off. What are y'all grateful for? Let me know in the comments. Just give me one thing. It don't got to be a lot. Just all we trying to do is just make sure that we just stay in a certain energy, stay in a certain space. It could be easy to just kind of let your life just, cruise on autopilot. But when you just take little small moments to be like, you know what, man, life really is good because of this thing right here. It's always something you could reach to. It could be the smallest thing. You know how many people do not have certain things. I'm grateful to wake up every morning in a warm house. I'm grateful to have a desk. I'm grateful to be able to speak into a mic and show up for you guys every morning. You know what I'm saying? I could go on and on and on and on and on, but sometimes we find ourselves in a little space where we might not be thinking about that, right? So if you ever feeling, a little low, sometimes it could just be the energy of the world that day, but a lot of times it's just an error in thinking. You just got your mind locked in on what's going wrong or what you perceive as wrong, because we really don't even know what right and wrong is as it's happening. We only get that perspective later on. So yeah. Y'all keep on getting in here, man. Y'all hit that like button as y'all come in. Again, I'm always going to give you guys the information you need, the knowledge you need. All I ever ask for is just one little like. All right. D, what up, D? Marcus, what's going on, man? Jamie in the building. Doop! You already know. She said, I gave it to you now. Hey, Liz. Hey, my bad, Liz. All right. Hey, Liz, you got it. Don't put me in timeout because I said that. I just want to, hold on. Let me stop, y'all. I just want to let y'all know something real quick. TE, it ran 29% on equities yesterday. Stupid bad. Stupid bad. It's up. Let me get this right, y'all. It is up. It's up 10% this morning. stupid bad. And Liz was the first one to bring this to my attention. All right. I gotta let y'all know that. Liz brought this to my attention. I didn't even know who this company was. I love you too, Liz. Candy, what up? Nat, how you feeling over there? Darrell in the building. You said you're grateful for recovery from 2 shirts. Oh wow, man, get better soon. I'm glad you up and on here and doing well. What it do? Wise, what up, man? How you feeling? Yeah, you grateful you still have the opportunity to improve in all areas? I love to hear that. Yeah, nah, TE was crazy. Yeah, Liz brought that to the chat, y'all. RDW. All right. Quentin, what up? NVIDIA shows up to the green party. Hey, yeah, I think it's slightly up right now, but we should get a nice pump on NVIDIA. Hey, straight up. Hey, Liz, them prayer calls, they got you lit. If TE came from getting on prayer calls, we might need to start a little prayer segment on this joint. Y'all let me know what y'all think. We gotta bring Liz on here? I'm thankful every day I wake up and get to change the opportunities that I have every day. Hey, that's what's up, Best Beezy. Straight up. And I feel that. You know what I'm saying? That's no minor thing at all. You said RDW is already up 12%. All right, we got to go look at RDW. Let's get into the breakdown, y'all. We're gonna build out a pre-market watch list. Let's get to it. All right, I'm about to flip the screen around so y'all can see what we got going on over here. But just marvel at this real quick, y'all. I'm gonna zoom out real quick so y'all can just marvel at this one candle right here, 29%. It don't, when you look at it on the chart, it don't look too crazy, right? That's 29% right there. This little gap up right here, that's 10%. We're talking about a 39% movement on a stock in a matter of not even a full 2 days. All right. And y'all said it's what, RDW? Did I read that correctly? RDW? Yeah. You say I'm 44, almost lost my life when I turned 30, so every day is it's like every day is a gift, bro. Every day is definitely a gift, especially when you had a brush with not being here, bro. That's major. Prayer definitely works. Absolutely. Yvonne, how you feeling over there? All right, let's get it. REW. I think I had it. Yeah. Redwire Corporation. Goodness gracious. So this had an identical run. Is this also energy company? Electronic, aerospace, and defense. Man, these sectors are going nuts right now, y'all. Aerospace, energy, quantum computing is on deck. Wow is all I can say. Wow, this is crazy. This is one of them things where you can't even read the chart. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, well, we have a little, okay. All right, I had to go to the left a little bit. All right, I see something. All right, it's clearly in blast off mode. All right, it wants to test highs. There's no doubt about that. Highs is at $26. That's about another 10%. Okay. It's blasting off. The only thing that you can hope for in a stock like this is that you get a slight pullback, but this is like going straight up in the air. Right there's no. It has launched off like a rocket. This is something that we could look at intraday, and just you could catch a quick scalp on this. Like I said, some version of a pullback, and then maybe like a break of range, could be a great time to enter something like this. But when you see stuff like this, y'all, you got to understand these are not. Nobody can necessarily predict that something's going to go 26% in a day, right? If it were down here, let's just see. All right, there's news and speculation, right? You can trust that. You can that can be a piece of your confluence, or one thing that you look at. But when you come and you see a breakout right here, nobody can guess that it's going to go 29% up here. You know what I mean? You can position yourself, like this was a breakout of a. I guess you can. This is kind of like a little pullback right here. But even this is like this was a bearish 3-bar. Some of this stuff is just like I said, it's hype and speculation. So it's not. We're not reading the charts in the same way that we would read another stock, right? So this is kind of like, there's a lot of people interested in it, mainly because there's so many people on the internet right now that are talking about the, like quantum computing space, aerospace, anything dealing with space, like Rocket Lab, anything that's surrounding these sectors leading up to like the SpaceX IPO, I think are going to go crazy. But again, you don't want to be the one caught holding the bag. So it's important to be just cautious of like your entries, right? Keep some sort of like risk management in mind when you're doing this, right? A lot of these are also very cheap. So I'm gonna be real. I would recommend take that back. I'm not recommending it, right? Again, this is a perfect time to say, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not advising you to do anything, right? I'm just on here talking. I'm sharing the things that I see as for entertainment purposes only. This is not financial advice at all. Anything you decide to do, you're doing it because of your own research and due diligence, right? You're deciding to do that. You're not getting in because I'm telling you to. All right, so these are plays that I would take that are size for zero. How about that? Right, you guys have heard me on here talking about like size for zero trades. Let me just briefly walk you through what a size for zero trade for those who haven't been with me that long, okay? When there's something like this that's taking off, and you wanna get in on the action. I get it. I'm not sitting here and be like, yo, just watch everything just go crazy while you do nothing. I'm not saying you have to be that conservative in trading or your life. All I'm saying is just that make sure you're smart about it. Okay? It's sometimes in life where you got to take a risk. And it's sometimes in life where you got to take a big risk, but you also don't want to ever put yourself in a situation to lose it all or lose a large chunk. So sizing for zero allows you to stay in a trade so that you do not miss anything, but you're also completely accepting the loss. What is a size for zero trade? A size for zero trade is where you would normally place your stop loss, or where you would normally get out of a trade, and you're making that the entire trade. So with something like Redwire, RDW, or TE, right? These contracts are relatively inexpensive. So you could get a couple of them, couple $100, right? So say your normal risk for the day or for a single trade is $1,000, and your drawdown is like 20%, and you're like, you know what, when it comes down to 20%, if you make your stop losses numerical instead of like levels, You're like, all right, well, 20%, I'm going to go ahead and cut it. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. So that means you're willing to lose $200 normally, right? You're normally willing to risk $200 because, again, what you risk is what you're willing to lose, right? It's not leverage. Leverage is what you are willing to put up to gain or, get exposure to the market. But what you're willing to lose, meaning where your stop loss is, that's your risk. If I put up, $10,000 on a trade, I'm not risking $10,000 because I'm getting out of that thing way before $10,000 hits, right? Let's say, like I said, if it's 20%, I'm only risking 2,000 of that 10,000. All right, so a size for zero trade could be 2,000, right? If you're 1,000, a size for zero trade could be 200, and you could find you an entry point and say, okay, I'm gonna let this run for the day, or I'm gonna let this run for the week, or I'm gonna let this run for a week and a half, right? But as long as it fits under what you've been able to willingly lose, like you're okay with this being the risk, because if you were in a normal trade that you had done a bunch of research and technicals on, 20% would have been your max drawdown. All right. That's how you play stuff that's taking off like this. So it's nothing wrong with, like I said, sometimes you are going to it's nothing wrong with getting into a high risk trade. It's almost like sometimes you be on the highway and somebody might be driving slow. You're like, you know what? I think I'm going to go around them. Every time you speed up driving, like your risk of something happening does increase. But it doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing. It doesn't mean that you're not going to just get around that car. It's just for a brief moment. So there are times in trading where you can take something high risk. That doesn't make you an irresponsible trader, but you just have to do it in a way that will not impact you if it goes wrong. That's all I'm saying. You can get in on the action. You can have fun sometimes. You don't have to always be like, oh no, that's not. No, it's just like, you just have to scale down. That's it. Be very conservative and very consistent with your normal sizes. But if something is, like this, like you're really testing the market. It's nobody in these trades right here that can say, oh, this is absolutely going to happen tomorrow. People that in these trades right now, they don't know what's going on. I'm gonna be real with you. You don't know what's going on right here. This is pure hype and FOMO. Stocks don't move like this. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, yeah, you can get in on it, but just make sure that you're not putting yourself in some type of position. All right. Again, as y'all come in, man, doop, 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 doop. Hit that like button for me one time. Don't like what are you here for if you're not gonna like it? Like, why are you here with me 5 a.m. if you're not liking shit? You see what I'm saying? Hit the like button. It helps get the video into the algorithm and get this in front of more people just like you that are trying to go crazy. All right, let's get it. All right, so RDW, yeah, zero, size for zero trade. Same thing with TE. We'll go back to TE real quick. Size for zero trade, yo. There's nothing wrong with it. Get it into action, right? Size for zero. There's nothing wrong with it. Find you a point that feels comfortable to you and that you can accept your loss in if that were to occur and you're completely okay with losing the whole thing. And if you're able to do that and say like, all right, like, yeah, I just want to see if I'm going to be on the right side of this trade. Again, y'all, I don't want this. Don't clip me up. Don't clip me up saying, yeah, just let it rip. Just get in any trade. Don't clip me up and have me on the internet looking stupid, talking about some, oh, you don't got to worry about risk and all that. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying do not clip this up and say that shit. If you do, add this part clipped into that too, right? What I'm saying is that like there are times where you can just say that I'm accepting of losing all of this because like it's not a play that anybody can read the technicals on because it's a new overhyped play. I'm just saying if it's a lucky day for me today. I'm just saying if I'm going to catch it long enough because this might mess around. That $200 might turn to 5,000 depending on, the type of data the stock is having. And then you'd be like, you know what? I'm glad I did risk that little $200. So don't do that with all your trades. But when things are pumping like this, find an amount that you're okay losing. That's all I'm saying. All right. Get that part. Clip that up. All right. All right. Let's get to the real stuff, y'all. Let's get to the real stuff. Um, and not to say that that's not real. That's very real. This is very real money here. Y'all could really make a bag on them joints. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm reading technicals that don't exist. All right. Um, Palantir not really doing much. Y'all see I got this trend line drawn here. So this is a setup that I'm just kind of waiting for. Once we get out of this trend line, we have been coming down since since December, technically, right? On a daily, Palantir has been coming down since December of last year. Yeah, it had some pops. It came down here and it popped up a little bit, but overall, it's been obeying this trend. When we break out of this trend line, y'all know how that goes. It's a change of direction. It's a consequence. When we decide to get out of this, it is going to move pretty quickly. So just something to keep on y'all radar. All right, go ahead and get your trend lines drawn. Any trend that you've been seeing taking place for a while, get that trend line drawn on there. Or just take a day and just go through your whole watch list and find trends and just throw the trend line on there. It makes, when you watch videos like this or hear anything about what's to come, it makes it all make a lot more sense, and it gives you just more insight as to where you should actually enter. All right, so just make sure y'all are doing that. All right. So yeah, Palantir is probably not gonna make the cut today. It's probably not gonna make the cut today. Let's see. We did enter shop yesterday. Shop had a little bit of drawdown. Like I think we down like 20-something%, but it should be down this morning. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's down this morning. Yep. So it looks like it wants to head to the target. We'll see. We're gonna hold on in the shop. I'd love to see it break yesterday's lows. It breaks yesterday's lows, and it should be a pretty free fall down to this first target. All right, so those that are in the Prosperity Collective, you know what I mean? Those in the Prosperity Collective, all my family members, right? We will walk through that and update that today. All right, so look out for that. All right, let's see what can go on the list today. Again, y'all, y'all know I'm gonna keep talking my shit, right? In phase. Anything in energy. But see, the thing about in phase is moving healthily though. When I say something is moving healthily, have you noticed that in phase has been moving crazy, right? Look, 4% yesterday. It's up almost 3% this morning. When I say something is moving healthily, I mean that it is making a recovery with no gaps. That's real recovery. That is real, right? As long as we continue to push up with no gaps, this thing could really go all the way to its next major resistance, right? With very little interruption. All right, so we're talking about 77 before it really runs into any problems. It's sitting at 68, right? We're up over 400% in this at this point. All right. So, and look, that's just to get to 77. Look at how far it has to go on a full recovery. On a full recovery. All right. The distance that it has to go is not even showing in this chart view right now. And we ain't even get to the rich part yet. Look, this is rich right here. This is rich. All right. So again, this is breaking yesterday's highs. This might be a nice little situation. It's always good to play plays that you're in long term. Like when they're having great days, just play them on the intraday. Pop in and out of them. All right. This is one of them. Again, we are going to be reaching the top of this range that it's been in at about, like I said, about $78. Once it gets above that, you're gonna have another wave of it pumping the same way that it is right now. But you don't have to worry too much about the pullbacks. There's no gaps to fill in this recovery, right? So this is a strong trend. This is a strong organic growth and recovery. All right. Man, MU is like when I saw MU, I I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I got in MU and I made a lot of money in MU, but I did not make the money that I should have in MU. I'm not gonna lie. I got out of some leaps like way too early in MU. I'm not gonna. I got out of some way too early. I got into MU when it was $100 something, yo. And my contract still had time to this day. And I'm looking at an MU getting ready to turn $1,000. It's sickening. It's sickening. Not even gonna tell you how much that would have been. Nvidia, I like Nvidia's respecting of this trend line right here. Hold on, let me bring this down. I think we're gonna actually put that on today's list. Hey, what's up with this? Oh, it's still loading the drawings. All right, so Nvidia is respecting this trend line, right? It bounced off of the 21 EMA and the trend line yesterday. What is it doing? It pushes up, it pulls back to the trend line. It pushes up, it pulls back to the trend line. We are getting ready to push up. Today should be a bullish confirmation day. So what we want to do is see it fail the trend line, or in other words, bounce off of this trend line again, and then break through yesterday's highs, and we can take entry and see a nice, a nice movement over the next day or two, really the next few days, to make a higher high than this last swing high right here, right? So we're talking about possibly getting, maybe about like 240 out the deal or something like that by the end of week, maybe topping next week. All right, so this could be a really beautiful swing play. Those who got in Tesla, congrats. We was talking about that yesterday. Gapped up today, up 2.2%. It gapped up to fill the gap. It gapped up to fill the gap. Now we got a gap down. But I do think that it takes off. Tesla's one of those stocks like, man, I come and get the rest of those gaps later. Like, it kind of moves, at its own pace. So when it's ready to go, it's ready to go. It's not really so much about the technical. So we could easily take these out. I'm not going to put this on the watch list, but this will be kind of like a side watch that I'll be, looking at. But this was something that people were discussing. Again, we got us a nice trend where it's, up, down, came retest the trend, up, down, came retest the trend, and now it's in one of those, ascents higher. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see Tesla, at least around like 465 over the next few days. All right. Let's see. And you guys feel free to drop a few, a few selections in the comments. Let me see what y'all talking about. Like to this day. Hey, Wise, man, listen. Remember that prayer call about MU? Yeah, nah, I'm never making jokes about prayer. I know how real prayer is. What are your targets for Nike? Oh, she's talking that, yeah. No, Nike gonna be one of them ones for sure. I've been watching Enphase. There's so much information on these calls. I appreciate you, Yvonne. Yeah, that's the goal is to make sure that y'all have everything y'all need, man. Will MU have a pullback? I mean, eventually, yeah, but I don't know how soon that's gonna be. MU is just like I said, I made a decent amount and got out like way earlier. But just this is something that I be telling y'all, and I'm only human. So even when I'm teaching stuff, I want y'all to always understand, like, I I would say I am like, I perform, at a really high level, but I will never be perfect. So there's always gonna be a time where there might be something that I will look back on and be like, damn, I could have done that differently. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that just kind of like, you'll never reach a point in life where you just like, everything that I do is right. Everything that I do is nah. Because hindsight is 2020. You know what I mean? So as you're going through life, you're gonna be missing some stuff. You're not going through life. We're not going through life with 2020 vision. Definitely understand. Okay. INFQ. Okay, cool. INFQ, NVTS. All right. Let's do INFQ. Inflection. Y'all ever just stop and think like, God damn, there's so many stocks on the stock market. It's so many stocks on the market. Like, I'm learning about new stocks every day. And I've been doing this for years. All right. Inflection. Okay. Well, on the daily, it doesn't really look like anything. Let's look at it on the weekly. Okay, on the weekly, we got a 3-bar last week. Could possibly be a 2 situation, but I mean, we got these big wicks on each side. Let's drop down a little bit. Okay. Mm. Yeah, it look like it's in it's forming like a triangle pattern. So this could be really good. But we just gotta we have to let it just break out, right? I told y'all everything is just lines. So whenever you see something that's like consolidating and then it gets like smaller or tighter, it's just triangles, right? This stuff is all just lines and geometry, right? So it's getting tighter. And again, you don't have to worry about, like, you don't gotta be an artist. Like, your lines don't have to be perfect. You just have to understand in general what's taking place. So, we gotta push up, and then we got a consolidation, and the consolidation is getting more narrow. What is that? That is a triangle. All right. What is a triangle? Right. It's like a wedge is a version of a triangle. A triangle is when the volume drops, and then indecision is pretty much where you are, and then there's a breakout that normally takes place. So you go ahead and you draw your triangle, and at the point of a closure outside of this, right, it can get a little bit tighter. But when we get a strong breakout and closure with volume in either direction, then we can have a much better idea where it's going. Right now, I'm not seeing anything that looks good, and this is on the 4-hour, right? So I'm low key trying to find something, but on the daily, it's not really anything going on, right? We had you can say it was a bearish engulfing yesterday, but it's up 1.5% today. There's no like real pattern or direction that's in right now. So we got to kind of wait. That's why I say I like the 4-hour, and then some sort of breakout with a confirmation to the upside or downside that's letting you know that it wants to start to move. And again, that needs to be accompanied with some, some decent volume. All right. To the downside, I'd be a little bit careful, because there is some like support in this area right here. So, yeah, inflection is cool. I haven't really heard much about it. I don't know much about it. It's saying computer processing, so I'm guessing that it's, in that same space that's kind of hot right now. I think there's just a lot of different stocks that people are all online talking about in these spaces. I would also let you guys know, like, it's always great to take that information in, but also understand that, like, when hype comes into the market, it also has to do one thing too. It has to die down. So you just want to, like I said, be very cautious about, your entries in the hype, and also understand that easy come, easy go. So when something's running 10, 30%, 20%, know that it's not going to be like that forever, and it could be taken away in the same manner. So you just got to make sure that you are managing your risk in that way. All right, we got, what else we got? Good seeing all y'all in here, man. I love that y'all get up in the morning and get to it like this. Iran definitely got some legs, man. Definitely got. Let's look at Iran real quick. Iran is going to be one of those ones in the future. So this is, I look at Iran almost like a MU. I'm not saying it's going to go hit $1,000, but Iran has definitely has a big opportunity. I wouldn't be surprised to see this like over $100, like, by the end of the summer, right? Probably, and I'm being probably, it could possibly be before that. Iran looks good. Iran, broke a high yesterday, closed bullish. It's up, 4% today. This is just it's going crazy, right? It was in a little downtrend for a brief moment, which we drew, right? We drew the line right here. If we can extend it just a little bit so that you can see the full, where it actually broke the line. So that line was already drew. I just extended it so you can see where it broke it. It broke it right here, right? Got the fail 2 up yesterday and then kept on. So, yeah, Iran could at minimum come to 65.14 just to retrace to this high. And then when it breaks this high, look at all this space it has over here, right? To recover up to, $77, which I have drawn up here. So this was a double bottom situation for anybody that was, watching Iran. Beautiful play from that double bottom down here. And, this thing jumped, it double bottomed out at 33. So we, anybody that was in this or, was looking at this long term got a double up just on the equities from that double bottom. The full double bottom will be complete when it recovers to the high. So this still got plenty of room. This wouldn't be something bad to swing for like the next few months. All right, that's a really solid play. All right, again, y'all, as y'all come in here, man, just hit that hit that like button for me one time. It really helps with the channel, the algorithm, for people to come and soak up some of this information. All right, I appreciate it. NVTS, let's go look at it. NVTS. Yeah, there's some real opportunities out here in the market. Hey Natalie, I'm doing ServiceNow leaps. I'm doing ServiceNow leaps. Yeah, MVTS is up, looking good. It did have this reversal, like this hammer yesterday. So this inverted hammer. So I would be a little cautious about that. If it stays within the structure of this hammer, I'd be like I said, I'd just be cautious of calls, even though it is bullish, right? I'm not saying this is not bullish, but it could be ready to get like a little pullback and possibly come and fill this gap right here. So I'd be, even though it's up 3% in the pre-market, I'd be cautious for a possible pullback to fill this gap before maybe taking off, like a little bit more. So This is a bullish opportunity for sure. Clean pullbacks to the 21 EMA and then blast off. It's definitely a solid, a solid play. There's a lot of interest in this particular stock, so yeah, this could be a good one. For today, I don't know if for today, what I would just look for is a break above yesterday's high. So if it if it teases the downside and then it gets volume and it comes and it breaks 33.82, at that point I'd be interested in calls, but I wouldn't want to take them before that with this hammer sitting on the daily like that. Right, this inverted hammer sitting on a day like that. This could easily be a bearish confirmation day and come and close this gap. So I just be cautious on that one. All right, ARM is another one, y'all. ARM was messing with this like under $100. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these just like a thief in the night. Just like you wake up one day and they're like 3x on equities. You know what I mean? There's going to be more opportunities like that. That's the beautiful thing about the stock market. Whenever you feel like you missed something, you really didn't. And I know everybody's like, oh, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Cut it out. I will say there are some once in a lifetime opportunities, but we're speaking for like, oh, this particular company, right? But there may be another company that comes and does something that company doesn't do. And then that creates another opportunity. So, this year, right, there were, I can name rapid fire 10 companies that like 3-4x on their equities, right? Rapid fire, like there's so many, right? Do we need to go through and then not even counting like recovery, right? So, and I'm not saying like all time high, I'm talking about just from like year to date, right? MU, ARM, freaking, Hut 8, one of my favorites, Enphase, VSAT, AMD, so many that just at the beginning of the year were down. Now, exactly. You know what I mean? Like it's a really good time for a lot of stocks for leaps. And there's some who have already paid off the leaps that people were getting in a year or two ago. Like AMD, if you got in leaps in AMD when they were in the hundreds, which was the very smart thing to do, we were looking at this the other day, like 20,000-30,000 in AMD is like almost 300,000. They got AMD has contracts that are like 300,000 now. It's like it's certain contracts you can't even get in. Shop down 1.1. There we go. That's beautiful. We still holding shop. So that's beautiful. Can you please look at Meta and give us how to get in Enphase? Yeah, I got you. Let's look at Meta real quick, y'all. Let's see. So Meta is below this 21 right now. It does have a fail to down from yesterday. So we could be about to fill the gap. But again, y'all, I got like we've looked at this and it's crazy. We looked at this like maybe like a week or two ago, and my analysis is still the exact same. You want to know why? Because it hasn't gotten above this line yet. Until it gets out of this little range that it's been in. We were talking about it when it was here, like it's done all this stuff, but it stayed in this range. So until it breaks out of this range, whether to the upside or the downside, it's a no trade for me, right? I'm not getting in Meta until it gets out of this range. So above, like really 625 is like the line in the sand for me to the upside. And then to the downside, it'd be 592. All right. So that's what I'm looking at on Meta, right? It just got to break this range that it's been in. So 625 to the upside, 592 to the downside would be where I would set my alerts to be notified that, okay, put season is coming or, call season. All right, we'll jump back to Enphase real quick. So in phase, I want you to understand, Tish, is already in motion, okay? But it does not mean that it's over with, all right? Now, in phase is blasting off, but we're going to look to the left so that you can see a clear thing of what's happening, right? So I know a lot of y'all, that's another thing, a lot of you guys are new to the Prosperity Collective, and there were things that I was calling in like 2025, like this is one of them, right? So we double bottomed out right here, or really triple bottom, whatever. But it came out of the falling wedge. This was drawn like, a while ago, right? This falling wedge has been taking place for years, right? The energy space, they caught a bad year, and in the stock market, sometimes a bad year can just lead to, it can lead to the start of a bad couple of years because of overreaction. Again, sometimes just like the specific day in the stars that it might have failed might have been one of the worst days, or the worst days that something like this could happen, right? So sometimes we get these unexplainable over exaggerations in the market that create opportunities. So just getting to the point, right? 77.97 is the next target, right? That is the point that we might see some sort of like resistance on end phase. What I'd be looking for end phase is a pullback once it hits that level, or even whatever the next pullback is, right? The next pullback I would get in end phase until about 2027. It could be mid 2027 or early 2028. And just allow it to accumulate, right? When you look at and go also do your research, right? Go look at their financials. Click into here and look at their financials. You'll see that their financials have been strong throughout the downfall, right? That was something that made me really excited. Whenever you have a company that is still maintaining strong habits financially while the stock itself is falling, that's the makings of an opportunity. If a company is just getting obliterated financially and they falling, then it's really no telling if there's going to be a turnaround. I had a friend, I won't mention his name, but I had a friend that put $1 million into WeWork, right? Put $1 million into WeWork and just knew that it was about to be $4 million. And then it failed, and the financials were not strong. Like they were getting weaker and weaker. All the stuff was happening with the young CEO that wound up leaving, and then he went and got. I don't know if y'all saw the documentary on a dude from WeWork, but the dude was a wild dude. Super young, was able to just get money, for the company, but also ran the company in a crazy way. Blew money, was just living like a rock star lifestyle. And then after WeWork went under and they got rid of him, he wound up going somewhere else and getting somebody to invest $300 million in him for his next venture, right? But I say all that to say that because WeWork's financials were not incredible, my boy wound up losing almost a whole million. I'm talking about like, damn near $1 million. And I was just like, bro, like, and obviously when you lose that kind of money, I'm not trying to add insult to injury, but I'm just like, bro, why you ain't come talk to me? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? I would have told you, like, I would have told you instantly, like, yo, this joint is not it. I know that so at the time it was a pretty like hot name or cool, it was like something that people were still doing, but COVID hit. It's a lot of things that was just started like really beating it down, and the financials were just they were never really strong enough to justify that position. I'm like, man, $1 million to go throw in the market there's so many other plays that, that would have did it. So y'all want to just make sure that, the technicals are one aspect, but you always want to go back and look at the financials. That's the foundation. That's the fundamentals. Hype can only take a company so far. This has been sound. So what's happening now? Life has a way of creating some sort of comeback story for those who stay down, those who are still doing what they're supposed to do. It's the same with the stocks, right? If you're doing what you're supposed to do, no matter how bad your life gets, it's going to turn around and it's going to go crazy. Because that consistency of staying on point, that discipline, at some point when all the hype dies down in other places, that money is going to shift. That's all money does. It's currency. All it does is it flows back and forth, right? Getting wealthy is nothing but money. Money doesn't do anything but just change hands with different people over extended periods of time constantly. That's all it's doing is just shifting, moving. And you just got to be in position to catch it. This is how you identify those opportunities to be in position. Great financials, but they caught a bad break. That's the formula, right? So again, 77.97 is like the next target. Once it breaks out of 77.97, you can ride it up to about 140, right? When you do enter this, like I said, on a pullback, just be patient, right? Don't expect it to all happen in one day. Don't expect it to all happen in a month or a couple of months. Get it out, like I said, to 2028 and let it just do what it does. All right. Contracts are starting to creep up there a little bit, but they're still not like ridiculously priced. All right. I hope that helped. Google. Let's look at Google. All right. Google. Yeah, we entered Google yesterday. Google should be good. We took swings on Google yesterday. Google went from a bullish harami yesterday to just a bullish confirmation, right? It closed with a higher high and a higher low after pulling back. So we got a bull flag situation. We should see Google blast off. It's really simple, right? Look at this setup here. So we got a bounce off of here, and then a very, very bullish candle yesterday. So even though Google is slightly down, I don't see that as a bad thing. I see that as when it breaks above yesterday's highs, it doesn't have to worry about stopping, right? When something doesn't gap up and it's showing a very bullish setup from the previous day, but it doesn't gap up, but it's also holding the structure, that is actually a stronger setup than it gapping up. And the reason is because it does not have to pull back. It eliminates that possibility of having to come back and pull back and fill that gap, right? You got to think about the psychology amongst people that are also trading, right? If there's no gap, then it's just like, oh, well, once we break previous day highs, this is out of here. That's going to once that takes place, you're going to see volume rush the market, and we should see this pump pretty hard. So I'm like I said, I'm holding Google. Got Google calls for the week. This should be a really, really good play when it's all said and done. So first target would be about 397. Right, is what I'm looking for on Google. About $10 out the game. Obviously, depending on price action, like how the stock is moving, because we're not this is not a swing for like 3 months. We will adjust down, accordingly. If we get 30-40%, and the stock is not, it's not moving exactly how we want it, we can always get out of the position and then, just kind of like reassess the situation and get back in. All right, y'all. I gotta fly, y'all. I gotta get up out of here so I can get this watch list built so that we can go back over and kill the market like we do every day. All right, for those that are not, in a trading family, look, I'm telling you, look, TPC, I got my bun in right now, but yeah, I got the hair up in the bun right now, so I can't really put the hat on, but y'all see it, TPC. All right, the Prosperity Collective. If you do not have a place to trade and you're tired of trading on your own, you're tired of trying to figure all this out, come join the family. All right, the link is in the description of this video and all my videos. Again, all those who are new, welcome. All my usual suspects, I'll see you guys over in the Prosperity Collective in a second. But if you're new, like really consider this, all right? If you haven't been getting the results that you want, right? You gotta rock with us while we've been on this trajectory. We've been creeping up over the past, year and a half that we've been, doing this, and we've seen amazing results from people, right? But also, it's like there's something that's very unique about the Prosperity Collective. I want y'all to understand, and I'm not about to go on a rant about how special we are, right? To each his own. What I want you to understand is that in groups, when you're learning, depending on your learning style, you need people who are not just like selling you something, but also really doing it. And in addition to that, you have access to them. We're not always going to be as accessible. Yeah, we're going to try to do is, we're going to try to stay as connected as we possibly can humanly, right? But there will be a point where we cannot answer as much directly. And this is just a really special time in our growth because we know y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, we right here with everybody in the group answering questions. And I think this is the thing that makes it special and what's allowing people to get such great results so early on. All right, so if you've been on the fence about, joining the group and you tired of all the sales stuff and all the extra stuff, you ain't got to worry about that. Look, you join the group, you're in the group. It's no upsells. We don't got nothing else to sell you. It's just the fam, right? You come join the family. We show up. We trade live every single weekday that the market is open. And then, we got study sessions that are happening every Thursday for at least an hour. But knowing me and Zay, we wind up going longer than that to give y'all more than what you need. On top of that, we have a 10-hour course. If you're, not up to speed on how to trade options or our trading style, we got plenty of information for you. All right, so lock in. I'm gonna see y'all over there. Again, everybody in TPC, I'll see y'all in just a second. It's always love over here. Remember, invest smart so that you can live free. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.